Yeah.
Okay. We're group 4. Ralph, this is Emma, Ross and Harry there on the end. Unfortunately, Alex and Tom couldn't be with us. They are also been instrumental in developing this idea. And our project to pitch to you today is called ReChoice. And it's a waste deposit return scheme that is inherently choice-driven and community-driven. So, this is quite a telling stat. I think 26, so 1 in 4 people don't know what a waste deposit return scheme. So, can I have a hand raise? Is it true? Who knows what a waste deposit return scheme is? Yeah, I thought that was.
We do know.
Yes. Yeah. So we thought that was quite shocking because we all know what it is, and people who are informed in this space tend to know what it is as well. Another thing that I found when we were doing this research is that the average UK resident consumes 15 plastic bottles a year, okay? And there's lots of us here who have no plastic bottles in our lives, so the numbers for individuals are going to be much higher than that. The great thing about them is that they allow waste products to be reused in the environment, but there is a problem with them in that they're not reused in the local community, okay? So they tend to be centrally recycled and move about, and that adds to their carbon footprint, and it doesn't directly benefit the communities that generate the waste themselves, which is an important part of any sustainable circular economy. So one of the things that we started to look at was what can a more bespoke and a more society and community-focused waste deposit return scheme look like. And one of the things that we've seen from the other groups tonight is that a lot of people don't feel like they have any climate authority or any climate action that they can take. And part of that is because these schemes aren't community-focused and they don't include community choice. So whenever we looked at developing a waste deposit return scheme and what needed to change to make them successful in the community was building choice and trust that it will actually impact the local community in a positive way while creating a circular economy. And traceability was at the heart of that. One of the other things was supporting community development through development of materials and projects and jobs that could potentially come out of this scheme. And the last point was developing a platform for choice. So being able to input an opinion into something that directly affects you in your life. I'm going to pass over to Emma here to discuss how we actually achieve that.
So a massive issue with plastic waste is that it usually gets shipped up, and these companies say that we're recycling it, but they're not recycling it. They're sending it to developing countries for it to litter the landscape, and those communities don't have a choice in that. So we were trying to see how could we build a traceable closed loop cycling loop. So pilot collection points within academic centres in Belfast, EnviroGreen to then go on and help us with the logistics and the management of the waste. And then we've also partnered with Farset Labs. So Farset Labs is a makerspace within Belfast, which I don't think many people know about. It's been running for 8 years, but access to 3D printers and other sort of makery bits and equipment. So a big part of what we're going to do with Farset Labs is to really sort of hone down on what could the community think of how this waste could be used. So this QR code, if Harry's going to pass them out and people can scan them. But I'll explain what the QR code links you to. The QR code links you to an open source site called Polis. It's an open source software that was developed in Taiwan in the development of their democracy in 2014. So basically, the QR code will take you to this. So there is statements. So an example of what the PET could be recycled into would be open source lab equipment for low-income communities. Could be outside benches. We were talking about air quality monitors. A lot of different things, and you would press agree, disagree, and then this shows you mass consensus spaces and allows you to see where the community is agreeing, where the community is disagreeing, and this is currently being rolled out in citizens' assemblies across England, as well as you can get about one person can sort of generate 79 votes in a very small amount of time, so it gets mass consensus very quickly. And that's a big problem right now in the climate space, is that we need mass communication and mass involvement from everyone to be able to lead a just transition to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind. And so The next point would be the community development and design of PET regeneration into longer use products. So to keep the products within the community and to keep them from going into landfill again. So we've partnered up with Farset Labs. We're offering a 6-month residency for 3 designers to design products that will be products that will come from the survey that we're doing with Polis, and we will also be running workshops to sort of talk about who's responsible for the pollution and its effects on the local community and how we could go forward with that. And hopefully the data from these workshops will go into legislation that will bring the legislation that is coming in 2024 with the Waste Deposit Return Scheme. And that's just our traceable lid partners again. But yeah, that's us. I'll hand you over to Ross to conclude.
Yeah, to conclude, basically we want to achieve a sustainable project that'll be long lasting and fully traceable, that gives back to the community for the community. And to achieve that, we really just want to reduce and reuse any waste materials possible, such as the plastic bottles in this scheme, and to give back to the community. Thank you.